Ah, now we're live.
All right, let's go.
Waiting to the Instagram feed go live there.
We are live.
All right. Well, good morning. It's Saturday, September 6th. I just see on both my phones here. Cole's going live, Richard's on live on Instagram. So technology seems to be working, which is always good for a Saturday morning because sometimes things just don't work.
You never know. You just never know, Richard. But how are you?
Dude, I'm doing excellent, man. Doing excellent. Got some real estate stuff shaking. Got some sunflowers in the back, kind of a random thought, but I got some sunflowers that I planted like a month or so ago. And those suckers are starting to just starting to pop off now, so it's pretty cool to see.
No, that's awesome, especially because there's barely any sun that they're able to look at. Which is
and I think I planted them like way too late. Like I got a pumpkin patch in the back that I planted one, and then those things, the seeds didn't even work, the pumpkin plants, and then I had to plant new pumpkin seeds, and so we're like 2 months too behind. So my pumpkins will be ready in December at this rate.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
you're just doing a lot of pumpkin pie in February and March, and there's no problem. There's no problem with that.
Exactly.
It was funny. We a funny story about pumpkins, because I love getting sidetracked right off the rip. But
dude, let's do it.
We had pumpkins, I think, one year when I was still living in White Rock, when I was younger with my parents, and we threw all the pumpkins just in the back garden box that we had. Mm-hmm. Just kind of like to throw them there because we didn't want to put them in the garbage and we were too lazy to throw them out. Well, the seeds actually took, and so the next year there was just this like massive vines of pumpkins that just started growing in the garden box that had been empty for like a year because we were going through some stuff and my dad's health was going all over the place, and so we didn't want to put anything in the garden. We didn't want to do anything. So we just threw the pumpkins there. And then the next year we had like these sized pumpkins that were just growing in our backyard. And we were like, why? What are we doing? But it was fun to have homemade pumpkins. So next year, I hope you have tons of homemade pumpkins and you don't have to go to the pumpkin patch.
I know. So, but Cole, what are we talking about today? What are we talking about?
Well, I had a lot of fun yesterday talking about different properties. Or not yesterday, last episode. Mm-hmm. Which, if that was yesterday for me, it means I slept way too long. And I don't get to do that now with the little one. So I figured that I've got a property that I want to talk about that I did a review on this week. And it ties into a specific program that I talked with a couple mortgage brokers about. So a little tease there. And then I figured you would show 1 to 2 properties, right? And then if we want, we can compare, do a little comparison about which ones we like more, which ones are more multi-gen ready, more plug and play versus work and long-term upside. I think that, people like I want to see properties. I think that it's fun to take a look at properties and to yap about them and kind of give a feedback, and then some myth busting at the end and kind of figuring out some quick fire questions, and see if anybody puts a question in any of our chats. If you're watching on our Instagram lives and you want a question answered, please put it in the chat. I'll be checking it throughout the show. I am more than happy to answer them as they come in as well. I think that it's a great thing, and so that's kind of my takes on that. Maybe Richard's gonna tell me to ignore them till the end, but I don't think he's gonna. He seems like a pretty good guy. So it's kind of what I'm thinking that we roll here through episode 4. I thought it was fun through episode 3, and I think as we look at different properties and as we kind of continue doing this sort of stuff for clients, I think we're going to get a lot more experience, and then a fun story here I got one more story before we jump into some properties. I landed, as a lot of people might know, I am a new realtor. I just got my license, and I landed my first buyer's client on Thursday.
Dude, let's go. It's awesome.
So I'm pretty excited about that, and we'll start the process specifically.
Looking at the multi-gen, or what are we talking about here?
It is a long-term multi-gen / investment project. So somebody who wants to get a piece of property, figure out if they want to just get one and put a home in the back, or if they want to tear down a house and put 4. And so that is something that we will discuss, because we looked at one that was actually a little bit more on a larger scale, and took the client to the city that he's looking in and knew more. Well, I wouldn't say knew more, but I knew a lot of answers that the city didn't on stuff that they probably should. A little pat on the back there. At the end of the day, found out that the property that he was looking at was not probably going to work, but he was so impressed that he wanted me to find him some. So a little success story. I know Richard's already a super successful agent in his career, but I'm super thankful for the people who have helped me. Richard, you're one of them, and I'm pretty excited. So that's my one little shout out about how my week went. So,
dude,
very excited.
I love it. It's the small little victories you got to compound over time, and just that's awesome, because it's exactly what you're wanting to do. What I'm wanting to do is just help more families understand and navigate the buying, developing process of multifamily homes. But yeah, let's why don't you just show us the example you got there, and we can get right into it.
Absolutely. So I am going to go and share my screen here and showcase kind of what I'm looking at from a perspective here. And so we are in Maple Ridge. I like looking in Maple Ridge personally. It's where I'm based out of, and I love the area, but I wanted to not necessarily talk about a great property. People are like, "Oh, why are you doing that then?" And talk about one that is a little bit more, not difficult, but there are more challenges to work with, because these are going to come up, right? People are going to look at properties, and it'd be easy for us to be like, "Oh, this one's great. I love this one. There's so much to work for." But people are going to come to us probably with properties that we're going to look at, and we're going to have to be like, "No, this isn't, it's not that it's a bad property, and there's still potential here, but I would look for something else," right? Personally.
Well, I think everyone's looking for the easy picking property, like it, and so showcasing one of these could be interesting. So yeah, take it away there, Cole.
So we're here. It's the one that I have put a little dot on, right? So make sure that we can see that. And the reason why I picked this property is because when I looked at the listing, there's no age for the house. Normally, when you, I don't know, right, Richard? You'll know more than me. You've been in the industry a lot longer. But when I see like 999 on the age of a house for a listing, that's a tear down, or that's a reno to me, right? Maybe I'm off base or I'm completely full of it, but like that's, if somebody hasn't gone through and put the time in to kind of figure out like, hey, maybe I should put something in here, it's probably a reno. And so right away, right, you notice, okay, so this house is probably a reno. It's small. When we look at the topographic for it as well, not as I let it try and load here. Hopefully it does. Uh-oh.
It's coming. Don't worry.
Oh, slowly but surely it'll pop up here. It's not a big lot. So it's about 7,200 square feet, which is, fine. It's not the worst. But again, the reason I'm talking about this is because not a giant lot. And then when we go back to the aerial view, you've got lots of trees in the backyard, maybe a shed that you would have to probably clear, but you do at least have a driveway along the right-hand side that's already there. So, bit of a win having that driveway. But my thing here, and the reason I wanted to talk about this property, is because if you look at this property and you wanted to do something, right? If you wanted to purchase this property, because it's a pretty decent price for where it is. If you want to know the price, you got a DM.
I was just gonna ask you. So I got a DM you now.
Or you can find it. I mean, but I'm gonna keep that. You gotta ask us for it. So what I mean here by this is that this property with this house, you're probably going to need to do renos. If you didn't want to do anything multi-gen, right? If you just wanted this property and you wanted to live in it, there's a pretty solid chance that if you wanted to keep that house, that you're going to run away. And this takes me to the CMHC improvement program that is being offered by the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. And I talk about this because there could be a whole host of different opportunities utilizing this program for families for multi-gen that want to roll some rental costs into their mortgage, right? And one thing to disclose, before we get further into it, is that this is all based on publicly available information, and that if you're seriously interested, you should go talk to your mortgage broker. If you don't have a mortgage broker already, talk to Richard or I. We know some pretty great mortgage brokers that we can refer you to that will know about this and can help properly advise. But I am going to just switch my screen over quickly and kind of talk about why I wanted to discuss this. And it's because for people that want to do multi-gen, kind of different type of multi-gen activities, there is new construction eligibility criteria. Right? And now you're going to need your mortgage broker, you're going to need a financial professional to really kind of help run through and make sure that this is right for you. But, you know, you can get up to 90% for 3 to 4 unit properties, right? Your down payments are going to be based on the lower of your market value or your purchase price, cost of construction. But the idea is that you have greater financing choices for new construction and home improvements. And with a lot of older homes starting to hit the market, this is something that people might want to take a look at for rental properties, because you can have a qualified contractor or a renovation company go in, give you an estimate, give you some documentation, and then you can throw that to your mortgage broker, to your lender, you know, to kind of help with that process and potentially get those costs rolled into your mortgage, and get that money up front to pay for it, right? And so when I was looking for properties this week, I wanted to touch on one that I think would need to take advantage of this type of program, right? Being able to roll costs that would be potentially below 1.5 million for homeowner loans, right? Which ideally this one would be, and being able to renovate the property so that you could have a nice house, bless you, a nice house to live in, that it's on the smaller side, right? And that's just kind of what I was thinking when I looked at it. Now there are some multi-gen uses for it as well, but it's tougher for this property to maximize small scale. And we're just going to head back to it here really quick before I kind of like throw it over to you for some questions about the property. I think that could be good. I think it would be good if we pushed each other and asking some questions. But one of the reasons I don't love this property, you probably have to take out this right here. That's probably going to have to go if you want to do anything. You might need to take this out just to be able to get stuff into the back or get machines into the back. You're going to have to talk to your builder about that. And then you're probably going to need to take out these trees.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a whole process as well. You're going to need to talk to the city about a tree cutting permit. You're going to want to make sure that that is done probably before you start adding anything in the backyard. When I did a quick look at what you are allowed, it looks like you are allowed a garden suite, and you're allowed 2 on the property. You can fit 2. Like, you can. I probably wouldn't. I think I would just do 1 garden suite. That would be bigger. Again, you'd have to verify and figure out what's best for your family. Go talk to the city. And one final thing to verify with the city is, can the garden suite be bigger than the primary residence? Because you can put almost 1,080 square feet in the backyard as a garden suite. So that is a potential option, but you would have to verify that with the city because the house is on the smaller side, right? I think you're only looking at 800-900 square feet for that primary residence. So if you wanted to keep the house, renovate it, and add, you could look to do that. And I think that it would depend on how much the rental costs are and how much the garden suite is. But I think you could, in theory, keep that under 1.5.
Yeah, it's just like, you just think about the future. You think about what would be smart. Obviously, like, I think we talked about this last week, just like this property, maybe you put the minimum amount into it to make it somewhat livable, and you can maybe take advantage of this CMHC improvement thing, and then build a coach house or a garden suite or whatever it may be, and then down the road, get rid of the house, and then build your multi-gen home. Maybe it's got, obviously the zoning and the bylaws will dictate what you can do, but obviously with the small scale multi-unit stuff that's coming out, your options are increased, that's for sure.
Options are increased, but because of the size of this property, it is a little tougher. So this is a property, when you look at, you're probably going to have to do a 4-plex, like a traditional 4-plex if you want to get to 4 units, which means that your garden suite would have to go as well if you added the garden suite and then took out the main house and then you wanted to add to it. So it's a property that you're a little limited in how to go about it. Like, this is more a family that's got a place to live, but they want to develop a property for the family or for their friends. Because if you want to get to 4, you're taking out that house. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to take out that house. You need to be able to build where that house is. And then you're probably doing something that is attached, right? You don't have the space to do 4 separate homes on that property and make them not tiny boxes like that. And that's the other thing that I'm thinking about here when I'm thinking about that sort of stuff. I don't want people living in tiny boxes, right? They can, right? You could do a 4-plex that with smaller homes, maybe they're like townhomes that are detached, right? Like a townhouse style, but they're just detached and they go up 3 stories. But personally, I'm trying to think of stuff that would be more comfortable for people to live in. To get a good size on this property, you're probably looking at something that's attached 1, 2, 3, 4, and then being able to have your parking all on the front. The people in the back you're gonna probably want to build something in the back for the 2 units that gives them a leg up, because they're probably gonna have to walk all the way to the back. Maybe you're able to get this driveway all the way to the back, but again, the trees are going to be in the way. So these are just kind of things that I think about, when I look at stuff, when people come to me and they ask me, hey, Cole, like, I want to maximize something. And these are things that I'll think about on my end. And then, we take the client to the city after we talk about it, and we say, you can't do anything until we talk to the city about this idea, right? making sure that they understand that. And then we talk to the city, and the city can kind of give their thoughts. And that's what I did with my client. We went to the city discussing what we want.
Do you go to the city in person, or do you just call them?
We go in person, we spend some time, we made an afternoon of it. We wanted to make sure that we took asked a lot of questions, got a lot of answers, allow them to see it on the computer. Like I'm talking to my clients, can kind of see what we're talking about on the computer, and then was able to summarize a couple of questions. I mean, the city was super nice. They were very respectful of us and answered a lot of our questions. And, I joked that I did know a little bit more. I think I knew a lot more than they thought that we would know, which helps, right? When you're
just a realtor. You don't know anything.
Well, I'm not supposed to, right? And so when you're able to kind of like answer some of those questions with them, and they understand like, oh, maybe he does know a little bit more than he's talking about than we thought. And you're nice about it. They were really happy to give us a lot of answers, a lot of in-depth answers that really helped my client and probably helped my client make a decision and avoided him paying a lot of extra money in something he needed. I think some environmental studies, a lot of money, and that's even before he was going to purchase. And so now that's going to save him a ton of money, because now you got to think about it. Do you want to continue, right? You didn't know this. Now you're probably gonna have to do this before you even go through a process of rezoning, subdividing, or rezoning and an environmental study, or a land use inquiry and a subdivision and a rezone. Like those are all things that are going to take lots of time, and those things are going to apply to holding costs, and that's going to cost a lot of money for people who want to do these types of projects. So the reason, again, like I wanted to showcase this property because it's a great case study in that not all properties are, just because you can go to 4 doesn't mean it's going to be easy to get there. This one can if they're attached. If you wanted to stay detached, you could probably fit 2. You could do 2 full-sized homes. You could do a bigger home with a garden suite in the back if you wanted to keep it as one property. Like, there's a lot of options. I'm not saying it's a terrible property. There's just a little bit more hoops. You're going to probably need to take out those trees in the back. That's a bit of an issue, right? So that's why I wanted to touch on this. And then, of course, the CMHC improvement program, I wanted to talk about that. I think that's a bigger thing. I don't know how many people know that. I saw some people being like, oh, but it's going to make your mortgage so high. And it's like, not actually, right? Because it depends. Like, how much is the rentals actually going to cost you when you add it to your mortgage? And when you factor those rentals into the mortgage, it really isn't that much more in the grand scheme of things, unless you're doing like a full tear down rebuild. Then you're adding a little bit of money there.
Yeah, it's can get out of you just got to run the numbers. Like there's a lot of programs out there that are like, wow, these are actually not that good, or hey, these are actually pretty good for this specific person. It's not like a one size fits all. Like everyone's going to be like jumping over backwards for this improvement stuff. But it's just gotta everybody's situation is different, so just do your homework is what we're trying to say here.
Absolutely. Always do your homework. Have your professional do his homework. If your professional doesn't want to do his homework, find you a professional that'll do his homework. We're right here.
No, that's pretty cool, man. There's just so many opportunities out there, and this is just one of them. And so appreciate you showing that, because that is a huge direction everyone's going right now. It's just that whole multi-generational stuff and showing real examples. It'd be fun to like maybe another episode get more into the nitty-gritties of it. It'd be, I think, kind of like future plans for this channel and this whatever is like maybe, I don't know, bringing on a builder, or even just like having construction costs, having all the nitty-gritties. Like obviously the company you're connected with would know a lot of those numbers, and just like, hey, because that's what people want to know at the end of the day. They just want to know, like, what is this going to cost me? Okay, Rich and Cole, you're going through all these things and you can only build this here, but what is this going to cost me? Or like, what is possible? Okay, you buy the thing for $800,000. How much in permits, fees, development, building, permits, like the whole 9 yards. You buy for
Yeah.
800, is it going to be $2 million all in? Okay, I need $2 million to do this. And what does it get me? Does it get me 4 individual homes? Does it give me a fourplex?
Yeah.
And I think so that would be cool because I've had that question already, like last week. Well, how much is it going to cost me? I'm like, well, I'm not a builder. And so I'll, I'm straight up
builders.
honest. We know builders, right?
You a builder. You can have that conversation if you want to ask.
So it's no, it'd be fun to like one episode just like only talk about one property and just get into the nitty gritty, or maybe even two or something. And maybe it's not even a property that's on the ideally it's a property on the market. That way it's actually a real case scenario, or one that maybe just sold. It's like, hey, this one just sold for 900 grand.
Yeah,
this is probably what they're going to do with it. Let's run a scenario.
Well, there are a couple that I'm tracking. Not as that's an angry little dude right now. That is an angry little dude. That's the best part of doing these live. But I was saying there was a couple that have just sold that I'm tracking that we could use as case studies as well. So that could be pretty fun. And we can kind of go over it and showcase kind of some other questions. I did a little bit of just the first meeting I had with the city for the one. Can also go over kind of why we don't like that specific property and what we were thinking, because it was bigger. It was like just under an acre, and it was a potential townhouse project. And so, can give a little bit of insight as to what they were thinking and why we're not doing it, and what kind of happened on our end, but what we were thinking. And so that might provide some insight to people who, might have, larger properties under an acre that are sitting on it. Do you want to maybe do something with it, right? You have so many options that are at your disposal, and you have a province that needs more housing in pretty much every municipality. And there was a comment on one of my videos that was like, oh, the government can't build enough homes, so they're going to throw it to the citizens. Well, I mean, yes, they are. And the citizens can make money off of it. So, I mean, making money isn't a priority to everyone. Let's, put that out there. I understand that. But for the people who want to make more money, it's right there. It's going to be easier for developers to do stuff with your property because of the new zoning and regulations. So they're more likely to want to potentially purchase, in theory, as long as it's marketed right. And maybe there's a way that you sell your property and then you get one of the new units if they develop it, and you just put a couple $100,000 in your pocket and you stay in the same area, right? Like that's something that can happen. I've heard stories of developers doing that with people where, they'll buy it and then they'll sell one of the units at a discounted rate for that client who sold the property. And now this client gets a brand new house. Maybe it's a little bit smaller, but they're in the same neighborhood that they've been living in for however long. And they got a couple $100,000 in their pocket extra, right? So
sounds pretty good.
So just things to think about. But, we've hit the halfway point already, Richard, because we're flying. And I've already talked about my property. So you need to talk about your property. What do you got?
I gotta find my property. So hold on. Let's
Oh no, Richard.
See, you know me. Let's just wing this. Let's just see what we can come up with. See what we can find. Excuse me for like 1 minute while I load up my website here. Oh, I lost it already.
Unbelievable.
Redo it. So let's, I'll share my screen. Present that one. Share screen. Entire screen. Screen 2. There it is. There's the house.
That's a hell of a car.
All right. Alrighty. again, I do this every week, but shameless plug. This is a website here of mine. I've built it for people, and really myself, and then now I've had a lot of people look at it as well, just because it's got pre-made searches to do with houses with suites, houses with 2 suites, houses with coach homes, and let's find some properties here. And so right off the get-go, I always like looking at coach homes because if you look at the analytics of this site, like most people look at this specific page right here. Maybe it's more fine-tuned for Langley or Mission or Maple Ridge. And so let's just see what most people are looking at here. We actually seen this one last week, I think. This was a 1.2, and this is a big long one.
The big long lot in Mission. Yeah, we did.
And so it looks like it got relisted there. But these are like Clayton. This is Chilliwack. Like this is probably just a big house with a coach house in the back. It's really probably what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Right. So you have main floor, upper floor, lower floor. So look, like you have 3 suites here right off the get-go. And so this could be a perfect example of having basically 3 families or 2 families, and you rent out the coach house, or like a growing family. So let's say you buy this house, you could rent out the coach house. You could even leave the downstairs like completely, open for your own family, or you rent it out as well. Because like right here, this is what's interesting is there's only access to the downstairs via here. A lot of times there's like a door.
Is that not a door on the right wall?
This one?
What? Yeah, is that not a door?
Wait, that's a window most likely. Looking at these ones.
Do suites need? This is a great question, right? Like, because I don't know everything, but don't suites need 2 exits? Or are they allowed to just have the one?
These windows are most likely the exits, but I always thought it was just good with one, so that's probably a good thing to do.
It might be that you only need one for a basement suite, but again, this is why we don't know everything.
But like you have a 2-bedroom here. This is in Chilliwack. It's 2 bedrooms, probably like $1,100.
Yeah,
$1,200. This coach house. Oh yeah.
Create your free account,
dude.
Lock in, Richard.
Sorry, man. Just
this guy's not even
my website wants your information so badly.
At least it works.
It does.
At least it works.
Yes, you have the 1 suite there. This could be it's 2 bedrooms, 2-bedroom suite. This could be your grandparents. You're living in the main area, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, right? To get your growing family in there. And then you can even have somebody else back there, or you just rent it out for probably $1,400, right? And then you have this massive garage. All right, let's just nice little oasis back there. Like this must be the downstairs suite.
I mean, that's a nice downstairs suite.
Like, start the car. These are the windows.
Yeah.
So it's in the ground. Excuse me. So maybe this wouldn't be ideal for your grandparents because it's underground, which I don't know. You don't want to feel like you're living in a hole. But hey,
the Langley house could be though.
Well,
I don't know if you got is that the Langley house right there?
Yeah, that's the Langley house above there. Let's see some pictures here. I don't know if that's the
Langley house.
No, that's the master. That's the mudroom.
They may not have taken pictures.
It's probably someone renting it right now.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a great option. Like, that's a great property. Like 3 suites already.
Right? Like, where is this listed here? This is what I always like to do too. I know you can see on that map there, but like.
Is that what it is? Shawinigan, pardon me. I got Shawinigan in my head from the NHL video games from the commentary. Lady from Shawinigan. If anybody plays NHL, any NHL games, you've probably heard that a lot.
Oh yeah. So like, this is always fun to do too when you're looking at properties. Like, okay, hey, what's the parking like? What's the access like? Is this going to be okay for you? Because like, you got 3 parking stalls really in the garage.
Yeah.
And you got 1 right here, so that could be for the coach house person, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe the basement suite person. You got a spot over here, or 2 spots, right? But those aren't guaranteed. You got a corner lot. You got some parking over there.
Yeah.
And so really you got 4 parking stalls, plus a couple on the street here, a couple there. Like,
it's pretty nice.
It's pretty nice.
It's
right.
nice.
Right, it would have been nice to have like slightly longer, but it's just the reality. Like they just built right up to the property line.
They're probably right up to their setbacks off the lane. So
yeah, exactly.
And I'd have to review the bylaw and make sure, but they're probably allowed to just have one space for the secondary suite, which would be the basement suite, and then 1 parking spot for the coach house. And then they needed 2 for the main house, and that's how they got to 4. So, I mean, it works.
Like,
it works.
Nice little deck there.
Attaboy. Look at that.
Like, you're looking over. You're not looking into any windows really, so that's kind of nice. But like, these are the kind of things you do. You just, okay, now where are we located? We're
is that the south? So like Sardis, kind of Sardis area. That's a good area.
And in my opinion, it's the better area.
Yeah, Sardis is a good area.
You can walk just down the road to the river.
Yeah, you got the new Garrison. The Garrison complex isn't too far away. Pretty sure they're right away from the Save-On. They've got 2 Save-Ons that are right by them for groceries. They've got pretty good schools in that location.
Leisure center.
I used to work in Chilliwack for 2 years. So I love Chilliwack. I've said that I think in 3 consecutive episodes. It's a little too far. It's a little too far for my wife personally, which is why I don't think we would move there. A little too far away. But it's an area that it's an area that I really like. It's a city that I really like. So I would, for people who are interested in going out east, but want to still be close-ish to Vancouver in the Fraser Valley or Lower Mainland, pardon me. I like Chilliwack. So that's a really good property. It's a really good property.
Well, I was even just looking at like the whole area here, right? Like you all have coach homes, right? So if you're looking for an area, because what I find is like they just kind of build them here and there, but some of the sometimes they have a whole row of places. So it's like, hey, if I'm specifically looking for a home on coach home, like knowing where they're predominantly built is a good thing to know. Well,
it's interesting too. That was probably the developer that, for all of those homes, decided let's put 2 extra suites here, and that was probably done well before new legislation came out. Right? So that good foresight by them. Those are really good multi-gen types of homes.
It just allows for so much flexibility.
Exactly. I was going to say lots of immediate flexibility. Right now. You're probably not. That's not one that I think you even try to redevelop.
No, it's got best case use already, or best.
Pretty close. It's pretty close to best use. Maybe there's a change where you can, if you wanted, you could get to the 4th, but I wouldn't. Like that's a pretty perfect. You got the money, you purchase it, you figure out what you want to do. It's a ton of great value there in having something ready to go immediately for people who want to do something like this or have mortgage helpers. Really well done by them.
It's almost 4,000 square feet. So like,
if
you had 3 families here, it's plenty of space. Like the laneway house being 521, like that's a decent size. Balcony, bedroom.
But the
Get
laneway
you.
house, you know, who you want living in that laneway house? Probably are going to want someone who wants to downsize, right? You're probably for rent. You're probably renting that basement suite. The laneway house is for someone who wants to downsize. Like, and so people are like, oh, I don't want to live in something that's so small. But 521 square feet might be good for grandparents or you know, for us, for parents who don't want to clean so much, who don't want to have a giant space. They don't need a giant space anymore. So that's a good one. That's a really good one. In Chilliwack. Really like that one.
Okay, let's look at one more. Let's see what we got here. One more. That one's kind of similar. I want to look for these are all kind of the same, right? They're all like a house, $4 million.
Cool.
Let's just do we
While you're finding a property, I saw one that there was a property in Langley that's 98 million.
is that it?
Listed for 98 million.
You know, I should list my house for 100 million.
Just to be the highest listing. I think it's the highest listing in Canada, and it's in Langley of all places.
I wonder how that would work. That's kind of an interesting. If I listed my house for $100 million, you get some publicity.
Yeah, probably would. But apparently, it's like 15 or 16 parcels. It's like 40 acres. All right, but yeah, it's like I saw it come through on my social media channels, and I went and looked at it. I was like, wow, that's a lot. That is a lot of money.
So this is interesting.
Is that vacant? Is it vacant, or are they just showing the topographic? Like, what's going on?
I think
here?
they're showing an example of what it could be. It's probably an old house on the property. Because this is exactly what their it's the whole fourplex thing, right?
Yeah. 2074. Are they building a duplex? I wonder if they're building a duplex.
Well, I don't know if they're even building anything.
They just have plans?
Come on now. I wonder if they.
Is it both lots?
What do they say here? 4.5 and 4.7. I wonder if it is already 2 lots.
Or is it just proposed for 2 lots? Oh, I like me some BC assessment. Love me some BC assessment.
39.
Boy, it was 45 and 47. Last 2 digits for that street.
There it is. It's maybe a misclick on them. Or maybe that's probably what they're doing. It's probably getting subdivided or something.
Probably.
What does it say here? Lot square foot. Oh, so it's just an old house.
Then why did they put 2 addresses, guys? Is that what they're trying to highlight?
It's like they don't want to showcase the house because it's probably a dump. Let's just be real.
That's why you have the CMHC improvement program. We were just talking. Yeah, I mean, doesn't look great.
See, there's the 47 they're talking about. They just kind of.
I mean, it doesn't. I've seen worse.
Well, this is in 2022 too, so it's not like a up-to-date picture.
Well, I've still seen worse. Give it a little shout out.
But like, yeah, I was getting kind of excited because I thought maybe it was like a.
Well, this is more of a project, right? This would be up my alley.
Yeah.
Where is this?
This is the address right here.
Langley?
Yeah, 39A Langley.
Hey, Langley. I like
Two-
Langley.
20745.
Hey, you know, that could be interesting. What's the square footage of the land? Not the property or the house, the land.
11,591.
Oh. I mean, I like that. I like that. That's a number that I like.
Thing is, you're better off like buying the beater next door and then demoing it. And
I was about to say, this is one that this would be a project, I think, more so than an immediate. That Chilliwack one that you showed us, that's one that someone could just buy and go. This is one that I think you're starting the car, you're doing your due diligence, and I think you're doing a project there. But
like,
little tidbit, anything over 10,000 square feet in that 10 to 12, 10 to 13,000 range, you'd be surprised with what you can do with it. I don't know.
well,
There might be some fun there. There could be some fun there, depending on what the zoning and stuff allows. There could
it'll be
fun.
interesting. Like, this is just kind of an idea.
Yeah.
And there's developers, people doing it all the time, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But it's like, have a plan. Like, hey, this is what you can do. Like, go knock on this person's door. Be like, hey, this is what we can do. They can do. And to your point earlier, it's like, we'll get you into a brand new, one of the units of the fourplex.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the best unit, or maybe they're all individual houses, like depending on what the Langley city will allow you to do.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, some of these people, like you say, they want to stay there.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't have the funds because all their money's tied up in the equity of this property.
I think that one could be a lot of fun for people, depending on.
Right, you have like the whole street here. Like, these are all homes that were built. My computer's having a tough time trying to load this thing.
But again, we'd have to check zoning and all that sort of stuff first. But it's not bad. I like projects. I do like projects. I like looking at projects. And people would be like, well, I mean, why can't you just find me something that's easier? And I could. And that's what Richard's website is awesome for. Like, that Chilliwack property is perfect for someone who just wants the additional units. But, somebody looking for a project in Langley, depending on the price, like, look at what this person's building, right?
It's kind of a monstrosity.
It's an interesting design choice, but
he's probably shooting himself in the foot because he could have waited a little bit longer, and that corner lot would have been like huge for for some sort of multi-generational fourplex.
I think it is,
or whatever.
That looks like it is,
because this is 2025. I think the below is like 2022 or whatever.
That is multi-gen.
But you just wonder, like, how many units are there? There's probably 2 houses in there.
It's a duplex at least.
Yeah. Interesting roof design.
Interesting design choices.
But hey, we're not here to judge.
Nope. However, they are probably cooking themselves, because that corner lots are fun as well, and you can see why, because you've got 2 driveways. You could have done a lot of cool things, I think, with the 2 lots, or with the 2 driveways there. And so I wonder if they're upset with their decision.
Or maybe they're super happy.
Maybe they're super happy. You never know.
But it's just fun. Like, what are these people doing here? This is probably, I know we're kind of getting off track here because we're top of the hour here.
When are we on track?
Pardon?
When are we on track?
Never. See, like, what are they doing here? Building some sort of house.
I wonder if it's built. I wonder if they got to it where it was built. So,
the thing is, like, I go here and then it's like old picture, right?
Yeah.
But another example of someone tearing down a house. This is 2014. So this is pretty old. So, like, people are doing this stuff. It's just like most people don't know how don't understand it can be done, or obviously the big one is financing. That's always a big one.
Yeah.
But there's creative ways to make this happen.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say we could look. That was the second property there.
Yeah, I mean, kind of nearing the end of the show here.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see if you've had, you know, end off with answering maybe some questions that we've heard throughout our conversations. I've had a couple from people that I've talked to. I talked to a lot of different people. It was a pretty busy week on my end. You're probably very similar now as we're getting out of the summer, getting into September. But what are maybe some questions that you heard from some clients that you answered that you would want to bring up here that you think would be good to share?
Well, I'm dealing right now with a property. It's a heritage
Ooh.
property.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and so like this is, as a realtor, you look at all the information you have available, title, documents, and on the properties it had a heritage claim, which was interesting because when I called the realtor about it, she didn't even know it was there. And so, and like, it's what it is. And so we got to or she asked the client or her clients, got the information. And I was like, I'm gonna call the city. So I called the city. I got a whole bunch of information. Actually, like, super nice lady to talk to here in Abbotsford. She's super helpful and sent us a whole bunch of documents. So it's because there's different types of heritage. I knew about it, but I didn't know about it. So you could have the heritage area, but then there could be conforming or contributing homes or non-contributing homes, they called it.
Yeah.
And so this property is a non-contributing home, but there's still restrictions of what you can and cannot do. And so it's just educating myself, my buyers, and just everybody involved so that they have all the information. So the heritage homes are out there. I think when I was reading the document, there's like 3 areas in Abbotsford that are heritage. And so it's just, it's kind of a cool little tidbit of information. But yeah, that's, people are looking at spots, looking at homes, and it's our job to do our due diligence, our homework, and make sure that they're fully equipped with everything they know. And so more of just a statement than a question, I would say. That you really need to be reviewing the documents, or make sure you trust the person that you're working with, that they're going to review all the documents, because it's not like the heritage homes are terrible, but like they can definitely reduce. Well, they do. They reduce the amount of pool buyers that are wanting to purchase a home because they're just restricted to what they can and cannot do.
Yeah, and I don't know, as we get further and further into this new real estate world in British Columbia, do you want to put yourself somewhere where you're super restricted, where someone else is going to be super restricted, right? I don't know if I would, but that's a personal take, right? Disclosure.
Some people love that heritage stuff, though. It's just like it takes the right person. So like we've said before multiple times, like everybody's different, so do your homework. Trying to think what other kind of questions I got here. There's been some where like people, they throw out developments that the city's doing. Like there was another one, an overpass going in, so the traffic's going to change in front of the house.
Yeah. And
so don't worry about the traffic. And it's like, you can't really say that, because
cannot say that.
It's nobody knows what the city is going to do. Obviously they have plans, and like, how many times have you heard the city come up with some lavish plan? Like in Mission, they had like the water revitalization plan, where they're going to put some nice stuff here. And anyways, people were like,
too many times.
Yeah. So
too many times.
You got to be okay with what it is right now, and be okay that if it never changes, are you still okay with it?
Yeah.
Obviously it will change, because as people come, they bulldoze houses, they put more stuff up. And this is just a realization that you have to have as a buyer, that things are going to change, and they probably won't always be for the best.
No, and some people, I think some questions that I got was how you know, what can you put on properties? Because I talked to a lot of people and talked about what I'm doing, and they were like, well, you know, how long is it going to take? And I'm like, well, you don't have to rezone or subdivide. And that was actually something that the city, when we went to the city, they tried telling us, is like, well, you know, maybe you don't have to rezone or subdivide. And so, you know, I talked to my client and I was like, well, no, for what we want to do, we have to rezone. And if we have to rezone, we'll have to subdivide after. Because the city tried to tell me that we didn't have to rezone the property. That was one of the things that they brought up. But the zoning of the property was a specific type of zoning that wouldn't be really subdividable to make more parcels. So that was one of the things that I like when I talked to my client after. I was like, yeah, no, I mean, they probably didn't realize what zoning it actually was when they brought that up. But like, you have to think about that. And then just people trying to talk about like the feasibility of things and how long it's going to take. I got a question about how long it was going to take. And when I talked to the client after talking to the city, you know, it's a 2 to 3.5 year process for rezoning, subdividing, environmental development permit. Then you got to cut the trees. Then you got to develop the property. Then you got to build all the homes for it. Like that was going to be, you know, that's a long process. And then you have to factor in all of the costs that are associated with a 3.5 year process before you're going to even see, you know, gross on a project like that. And so
it'd be a lot of costs.
Would be a lot of costs. And so you got to be okay with those costs and you got to factor those in up front. So Richard talking a little bit more about like making sure they do your homework for the property. Make sure your builder does their homework on what the cost is if you're going to do a project with them, or if you're going to do if you're going to invest in a project with a partner. You need to do all of your homework on the project costs. That's super important. That's kind of the one thing that I would want to make sure. And I had a lot of conversations about that last week. And so, yes, if you want to do a project like this and you have, you know, you're looking at builders, make sure you see a cost analysis, or get a company to do a cost analysis for you based on their costs, because you want to be fully prepared. You're never going to be fully prepared because stuff's going to come up during the project. It happens in almost every project from builders that I've talked to. There is no perfect project. Something will go wrong. Be prepared for that. That's kind of that's my last thing. That's what I want to touch on there, is just be prepared. Do as much as you can to educate yourself on what the project might look like before you go in on the project, and factor in as many of the costs as you can, or have your builder make sure that they come up with an accurate cost plan and get a second opinion if you need to. So that's my kind of quick fire. Richard, another fun one.
Yeah.
Did it again.
I love just checking out the properties, just ripping on homes, or just talking about.
We did rip on a few this time. This one was the less positive. We took out the sites and took a few shots, you know. But you know, the Chilliwack one was really good. You know, we were still positive about that one. There was a winner there. Like if we were going to compare, I would say that Chilliwack one was the winner.
Yeah, corner lot, 3 suites, multiple ways to go about it.
Ready to go right off the rip. Sounds like a win to me. So,
yeah, it does. Okay, buddy. Well, next week, same time, same kind of discussions. If you have any thoughts on what you want us to talk about, pop us a, I don't know, comment, DM, whatever you guys are doing now these days. Get in contact with us. And that is episode 4, the Multi-Gym Project. Cole and Richard bringing you hopefully valuable information every week, because we think it is. But again, let us know what you want to talk about, because we're here doing this for you. And on that note, Cole, if you got one last sentence. If not, I'll end the stream right here.
Richard, you killed it. Great job, man. See you all next week, 8 to 9 a.m. on a Saturday. We'll do it all again.
Adios.